and welcome to BingeBot, where we recap all the latest and greatest TV shows to help keep you in the loop. Today we're covering Monarch, Legacy of Monsters Season 1, a dramatic action series set in the Godzilla universe where massive monsters and kaiju known as Titans threaten the safety of the world. Before we get started though, we're happy to announce that you can now support our channel via YouTube membership, Patreon, or Buy Me a Coffee, granting you access to exclusive perks along the way. But for now, let's get started with Episode 1, Aftermath. In 2015, a year after surviving Godzilla's catastrophic attack on San Francisco, known as G-Day, Cate Randa finds herself on a plane to Tokyo, hoping to uncover the truth behind the death of her father, Hiroshi, who reportedly perished in Alaska. Hiroshi's death is mysterious to say the least. Not only does no one know why he was in Alaska in the first place, but the authorities didn't even find his body. Adding to the mystery, Cate and her mother discovered a lease and keys to an apartment in Tokyo among Hiroshi's belongings, and driven by the curiosity, Cate decided to travel to Tokyo to investigate. Upon entering the apartment, Cate is surprised to find a well-kept home adorned with pictures of her father, looking happy alongside a woman and a boy that she's never seen before. Suddenly, she hears a scream coming from the kitchen, and the woman from the pictures, Emiko, is terrified to find an intruder in her home. Alerted, Emiko's son, Kentaro, comes out and asks Cate what she's doing in their apartment. Trying to explain the situation, Cate tells them that she's Hiroshi's daughter, which sends shockwaves through Kentaro and Emiko as they grapple with the reality that Hiroshi was leading a double life.
I don't know who your father is, but this is our apartment.
This is my father.
Maintaining two families who knew nothing about each other. Despite the shock, Kentaro realizes that Cate might be able to help him find out what happened to their father and decides to take her to Hiroshi's office. Upon discovering a hidden safe, Cate manages to unlock it by using a combination of the birth dates of her and her mother, and Kentaro and his mother, almost a sign that Hiroshi cared about both families equally.
How did you do that?
Your birth month, my day. Your mother's month, my mom's day.
Inside the safe, they find a bag containing an old hard drive, and wanting to find out what's on the drive, Kentaro seeks help from Mei, a gifted American programmer who chose to move to Tokyo for unknown reasons, implying that she might be running from something in her past. At Mei's apartment, she connects the drive to her computer and uses decryption software, giving her access to all of the data on the drive. As the files transfer to Mei's computer, the trio watches on in awe as a flood of odd images begin to fill the screens. A few images catch their eyes, including one of a map that doesn't resemble any location on Earth, piquing their curiosity about its purpose. One picture in particular leaves Cate and Kentaro bewildered, a colossal footprint with a person standing inside of it. And as they zoom in, they recognize the woman within the footprint. It's their late grandmother, Keiko, who passed away long before they were born. This unexpected discovery leaves them puzzled, wondering how and why their grandmother ended up in these files. The truth is, the secrets of the Randa family extend back several decades. In 1959, the happily married couple, Keiko and Bill Randa, along with their best friend Lee Shaw, founded Monarch, a military-funded secret organization dedicated to studying and monitoring the giant creatures known as Titans. The chemistry between Keiko, Bill, and Shaw is undeniable, with Keiko and Bill leading the scientific research and Shaw handling the military aspects of the organization. Even in their personal lives, the trio are inseparable, as Keiko and Bill are also parents raising their young son Hiroshi, with Shaw stepping in as the beloved uncle, thus making the trio quite the dynamic team, both at work and at home. On their current mission, the trio investigates an abandoned power plant in Kazakhstan, which has been emitting unusual radiation levels, a common sign of the presence of Titans, as they're known to be drawn to and consume radiation. Once they strategically set off explosives around the power plant, the trio finds a hidden chamber underground. And as they venture into the chamber, a remarkable sight greets them, a massive hole in the ground teeming with a larva of a Titan species called the endopede, dormant within their transparent, glowing eggs. Upon recognizing this as a new species of Titan, which technically categorizes them as MUTOs, an acronym for Massive Unidentified Terrestrial Organisms, Keiko insists on descending into the hole to collect genetic material. Despite Shaw initially opposing this dangerous idea, he eventually agrees and decides to accompany Keiko, while Bill stays above, holding onto her safety rope. After sharing a kiss with Bill, Keiko descends into the hole with Shaw and they begin to approach the eggs. However, their exploration is cut short as the ground beneath them starts to crumble.
Get out of there, guys! Come on, get back here!
Oh my god.
To make matters worse, all of the eggs begin to hatch, releasing a swarm of creepy, fast insectoids called endoswarmers, prompting Shaw and Keiko to scramble upwards. Unfortunately, the insectoids crawl up Keiko's leg, making her too heavy for Bill to pull up, and despite Shaw's best efforts to shoot at the swarm, they continue to climb up Keiko's body. Tragically, just as she's about to reach Shaw's hand, the insectoids drag her down, causing the rope to slip out of Bill's hands, sending Keiko plummeting into the void to her apparent death. Episode 2: Departure. In the present day, Kentaro receives an unexpected visit from Tim and Duval, two agents from Monarch, and after forcing his way into the apartment, Tim demands that Kentaro hands over all of Hiroshi's files.
I want Bill Randa's files.
No, you need to leave.
No, you need to hand over those files. Otherwise, you, your friends, and your mother are gonna be in a lot of trouble.
Cleverly, Emiko instructs her son to comply, while secretly handing him a picture of Shaw, indicating that Kentaro should escape and seek him out. While Kentaro pretends to retrieve the files, Emiko distracts Tim and Duval, allowing him to escape through a back door. And not wasting any time, Kentaro meets with Cate and May, and they drive to an address that Emiko gave them of an assisted living facility where a now 91-year-old Shaw resides. Upon their arrival at the facility, the trio meets with Shaw, all of them noticing that he looks undeniably good for a 91-year-old. And once Kentaro and Cate reveal that they're Hiroshi's children, Shaw enthusiastically takes them on a walk, during which he quietly explains that this facility is actually owned by Monarch, where they've been keeping him prisoner. Episode 3: Secrets and Lies. Realizing that they need Shaw's assistance, the trio decide to help him make a daring escape by giving him the keys to their car, allowing him to crash through the gates to freedom. Right away, the group boards a ferry heading to South Korea, where they meet Shaw's friend Do-Ho, who has an airplane they intend to use to reach Alaska, the last known location of Hiroshi. Upon landing in the Alaskan snow desert, they quickly stumble upon the wreckage of Hiroshi's plane, inside which they find a deceased pilot. When Kentaro gets close to the corpse, he discovers that it isn't Hiroshi, sparking hope that he might have survived. Encouraged, they explore further and discover a tent filled with equipment and a map with Hiroshi's handwriting on it, leading them to believe that Hiroshi did survive and is continuing his mysterious mission. As the siblings share a moment of relief by hugging each other, Do-Ho is overcome with panic outside as a terrifying titan, the Frostvark, emerges from beneath the snow. As Do-Ho bravely tries to steer the plane towards the group, the Frostvark launches an attack on him and begins to inhale sharply, sucking in all of the warm air and freezing everything inside the plane, including Do-Ho. Episode 4: Parallels and Interiors. With the Frostvark chasing them, the group stumbles upon a small cave and use it as a temporary refuge, and unable to find them, the Titan retreats, giving them a chance to escape. The danger is far from over though. As the sun sets, they find themselves lost in the frigid landscape, unsure of which direction to go. But luckily, Cate spots some lights in the distance, indicating that it could be a human settlement. To the contrary, Kentaro claims that he'd seen a closer man-made structure when they were on the plane, and insists that that should be their destination instead. And this causes a disagreement, as Kentaro's the only one who saw the structure, leading the others to be skeptical. Shaw, understanding that Kentaro won't just change his mind, proposes that he should head towards the structure alone, and if he does reach it, then he should return for them with help.
You think you saw something?
Yeah, I know what I saw.
Then go. And don't stop until you find it, and then get help. We'll do the same.
With Kentaro gone, Shaw, May, and Cate press on, but as night falls and the temperature plunges, things start to look bleak. While Shaw and Cate try to kindle a fire, the Frostvark re-emerges momentarily and consumes it. Realizing that the Frostvark is attracted to heat, Shaw decides to hold a funeral pyre for Do-Ho, dousing him in gasoline, but before he can light the pyre, the Frosty Titan reappears and starts chasing May. Thankfully, just as the Vark's about to attack May, a rescue helicopter appears overhead. At the same time, Shaw creates a diversion with an explosion, giving the group just enough time to reach the helicopter. To their relief, they find Kentaro, who'd found the structure and returned with help as promised. Unfortunately, their moment of respite is cut short, as once they land, they're greeted by Tim and agents from Monarch. Episode 5: The Way Out. Displaying his kind-hearted nature, Tim convinces Natalia Verdugo, the deputy director of Monarch, to keep only Shaw in custody and release the other three, trusting that they won't tell anyone what they've just witnessed.
This organization is in their blood. We can teach them who they are.
You don't mean recruit them.
Monarch is their legacy.
Consequently, Tim escorts May, Kentaro, and Cate to the airport, providing them with money, phones, and passports. Despite Tim's advice to move on with their lives, the trio is still committed to finding Hiroshi, which is why they decide to travel to California and sneak into Hiroshi's office that's located in the Red Zone, the part of San Francisco that was destroyed on G-Day and is now under strict military control. Moving stealthily, they avoid the patrolling soldiers and reach Hiroshi's office, where they discover a large world map with strange curvy lines on it. After comparing the map to the other smaller map that they'd found in Hiroshi's files, Kentaro punctures holes in a paper based on the smaller map and ingeniously uses these holes to project light onto the larger map, marking specific points among the curvy lines. Noticing that one of the points is specifically over Alaska, they deduce that these points indicate Hiroshi's destinations, leading them to the conclusion that he must be in the Algerian desert in Africa at the moment.
Africa.
This must be the path he took.
Yes, this is it. This is what we wanted.
Episode 6, Terrifying Miracles. As Shaw is being transferred to another location, an unexpected turn of events unfolds. Duval, proving herself to be a renegade, incapacitates Monarch's guards and sets Shaw free, convinced by his prediction that there's going to be another Titan attack soon that could potentially be 1,000 times more devastating than G-Day, and he plans on preventing it. Not long after, while May, Kentaro, and Cate prepare to depart for the Algerian desert, they find Shaw and Duval waiting for them. When asked why they're there, Shaw warns them of the impending Titan attack. Believing that Hiroshi is also on a mission to prevent this attack, Shaw asks the trio for help to find him so that they can work together.
Something's coming.
G-Day. I think your father's trying to stop what's coming, and I got a pretty good idea how he's gonna do it.
Agreeing to collaborate with Shaw, the team flies to the Algerian desert. Once they arrive at the exact spot on Hiroshi's map, they begin scanning their horizon with binoculars. To their relief, they finally spot Hiroshi. Overjoyed that their father is still alive, Cate and Kentaro excitedly wave and shout to him. While they initially think that he's waving back to them, they soon realize that he's actually signaling for them to leave before getting in his car and driving away. A few moments later, the ground begins to quake aggressively as a Titan emerges. As the dust settles, the Titan reveals itself to be none other than Godzilla, who rises, showcasing its colossal size and letting out a deafening roar before walking into the distance. As Godzilla vanishes into the desert, conflict arises within the group, as Shaw wants to follow Godzilla while the rest of the team wants to follow Hiroshi. Unable to agree on a course of action, they decide to separate. Shaw and Duval head after Godzilla, while Cate, Kentaro, and May make their way out of the desert to plan their next move. Episode 7, Will the Real May Please Stand Up? At an Algerian airport while planning their next destination, May's past finally catches up with her as she finds herself cornered in the restroom and gets kidnapped by 2 agents working for an unknown organization. Once May is transported to the US, she's met by her former boss, Brenda Holland, an executive at the tech giant AET. Realizing that she can't escape this predicament any longer, May's forced to confront how she got herself into all of this trouble. 3 years prior, May was hired by Brenda with the belief that she'd be developing advanced cybernetic technology capable of miraculous feats, like restoring sight to the blind and enabling the paralyzed to walk. As time passed, however, May was disappointed as she was given mundane tasks way below her capabilities. Growing suspicious of the company, she decided to hack through its security system, leading her to find they've been conducting unethical experiments on animals. Appalled by this, May used her exceptional coding skills to infiltrate AET's mainframe and erase years' worth of data, effectively sabotaging their entire program. Aware that this act made her a target, May fled from the US and traveled across the globe, eventually settling in Tokyo. In the current day, realizing that Monarch is desperate to find Shaw, Cate brokers a deal with Verdugo, promising to help her find Shaw if Verdugo can negotiate May's freedom with Brenda. Left with no other option, Verdugo agrees and strikes a deal with Brenda by giving her highly classified information that only Monarch has, which instantly prompts Brenda to initiate a new program called Apex Cybernetics, with ambitions that'll rival Monarch itself. Now free of trouble, May finally reunites with her family before joining Cate and Kentaro on their quest to find Shaw. Episode 8, Birthright. In Monarch's control room, while trying to pinpoint Shaw's location, Cate recalls how fondly he always spoke about Keiko, and it dawns on her that he must have traveled to Kazakhstan where Keiko fell into the hole, which they now refer to as a portal. Upon the team's arrival at the abandoned power plant in Kazakhstan, they notice that Shaw has placed numerous explosives around the portal, seemingly planning to close it. Before long, Shaw appears and requests a private conversation with Cate, during which he shares some information that's almost impossible to believe. He begins by claiming that there's a massive world known as the Hollow Earth hidden underneath the Earth's surface. This world, he explains, is home to all of the Titans and is much larger than the human world above ground. Noticing that Cate is skeptical, Shaw asserts that he knows this firsthand as he's personally visited the Hollow Earth.
There's a world down there, Cate.
A world down there.
Oh, yeah. I know, because I've been to it.
He then clarifies that Godzilla actually doesn't want to harm the human race, he merely wants to prevent them from invading his world, which is why Shaw plans to destroy all of the portals around the planet. Despite Kate's reluctance, Shaw initiates a detonation of all the explosives. Unfortunately, as the countdown begins, a Titan starts to emerge from the portal, leading the building to shake violently, which causes May to fall into the portal before Kate can save her. Right after, a horrifying endopede appears and advances towards Kate, its countless teeth ready to devour her. Suddenly, a falling rock hits the endopede, forcing it back into the portal. Kate, now on the brink of the portal, struggles to hold on, and tragically, when Shaw rushes to her aid, they both fall down just as the explosives detonate, sealing the portal behind them. Episode 9, Axis Mundy. As Shaw had told Kate, this isn't the first time he's been to the Titan homeworld. Back in 1962, a few years after Keiko's death, Shaw is preparing to enter the Hollow Earth through a portal as part of an exploration mission. The operation is spearheaded by Bill, who constructed a pod specifically designed for this expedition. Connected to the base of the pod is a round device called the Gamma Radiation Simulator, which serves as a bait to lure a Titan out, causing the portal to become stable enough for the pod to pass through it smoothly. Unfortunately, the Titan that they attract proves to be too large, and as a result, a malfunction occurs, causing a whirlwind and sending the pod and the soldiers inside of it hurtling towards Hollow Earth, more specifically, a place called Axis Mundy, a place between the normal world and Hollow Earth where they find themselves cut from any contact with the surface. Before they could adjust to their new environment, they're attacked by terrifying Titans and struck by lightning, killing the 3 soldiers and leaving Shaw all by himself. After surviving Axis Mundy for about a week, Shaw finds himself near a portal with a powerful gravitational pull that draws in everything around it, leading Shaw to be catapulted back to the Earth's surface. Upon his return to the human world, Shaw is found by Monarch and taken to a medical facility. Desperate for answers, he requests to see Bill Randa, but his pleas are ignored. Frustrated by this, Shaw takes a nurse hostage, demanding to see Bill, but instead he's met by an adult Hiroshi, who informs him that Bill is dead.
Get me Bill Randa!
I can't. He's dead. Uncle Lee.
Before Shaw is able to comprehend this, Hiroshi delivers him with a much more shocking revelation. Despite spending only about a week inside Axis Mundy, in the human world, Shaw has actually been gone for about 20 years, as it is now 1982. All of this finally explains why Shaw now looks noticeably young for a 91-year-old. In the present day, Kate awakens in Axis Mundy, only to find herself being approached by a Titan named the Bramble Boar. Just as the Titan is about to charge at Kate, an arrow flies out of nowhere, striking it in the face, causing it to retreat. Turning to see who fired the arrow, Kate is stunned to find Keiko, who apparently survived her fall into the portal all those decades ago. Episode 10, Beyond Logic. As daylight breaks, a still astonished Kate follows Keiko when they stumble upon May, who's also survived the fall. A moment later, Shaw's voice emanates from behind a tree, expressing his immense joy that Keiko is still alive. Noticing that Shaw's voice is different, Keiko asks him to show himself. Before doing that, he asks her how long she thinks she's been in Axis Mundy. Without hesitation, Keiko responds that according to her estimation, it's been 57 days. And upon hearing this, Shaw delivers the disheartening truth that it's actually been 56 years, and that it's currently 2015. Despite the shocking revelation, Keiko, being the brilliant mind that she is, quickly comprehends the situation, deducing that the gravitational distortion between the two worlds would indeed cause a warp in space-time. Understandably, Keiko is overwhelmed and begins to break down in tears, just as Shaw steps out from behind the tree. Both are in awe of each other. Shaw is amazed that Keiko looks exactly as he always remembered her, and Keiko is stunned by just how much Shaw has aged.
It's you. It's you.
As the two console each other, Keiko asks about Bill, prompting Shaw to inform her that he passed away a long time ago, a fact that shatters her. Wanting to bring Keiko back to the surface world, Shaw guides the group to the pod that he'd descended in for the exploration mission, and after attaching the radiation simulator to the pod, all 4 huddle inside, bracing themselves to be launched into the portal. Unfortunately, things don't go according to plan, as they lure a gigantic ion dragon that begins to assault the pod, severing the wires to the radiation simulator. Left with no choice, Shaw steps outside to reconnect the device just as Godzilla emerges from the portal. The dragon, driven by its violent nature, immediately attacks Godzilla, compelling him to retaliate by blasting blue fire at the dragon before hurling it into the portal, causing its gravitational pull to become much stronger, which draws the pod towards it. Chasing after the pod, Shaw barely manages to grasp Keiko's hand. Unfortunately, his weight proves too much, preventing the pod from reaching the portal. Despite Keiko begging him not to let go, Shaw realizes that it's the only option. In a moment of profound sacrifice, he leaves her with the farewell words, "Thank you for everything," before prying her hands off of his own, causing him to plummet and launching the pod into the portal. Now back on the Earth's surface, Cate, May, and Keiko step out of the pod, finding themselves on the tarmac of a facility located on Skull Island, which is a notorious haven for Titans. Immediately, they're surrounded by guards before Kentaro appears and hugs Cate and May. Hiroshi also embraces Cate, filling him with a boundless happiness that only grows when he reunites with Keiko, his mother, who holds him close, apologizing for not being there for him all of these years. Unexpectedly, Brenda is also there, with Tim by her side, revealing that the facility that they're currently on does not belong to Monarch, but Apex Cybernetics. Confused, Cate and May turn to Kentaro for answers, prompting him to explain that they've been in Axis Mundy for 2 years, and a lot has changed during that time. Before Kentaro can elaborate, the alarms start blaring and everyone is rushed inside. A Titan is approaching, and this time it's none other than Kong, who pounds on his chest and lets out a thunderous roar, ready to destroy anything that stands in his way. Well, that wraps up Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 1. It's always good to see more Godzilla, so this was definitely a treat. Hey, thanks for watching and for sticking around until the end. If you like this video, consider dropping us a like or sharing it with a friend. And if you want to see more recaps, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a new video. To support the channel further, you can consider subscribing through YouTube memberships, Patreon, or Buy Me a Coffee, but we appreciate everyone all the same. We'll be back with more recaps soon, but for now, BingeBot is logging off.